We begin today with breaking news. A federal appeals court ruled that any president, including former President Donald Trump, can in fact be prosecuted and charged for alleged crimes that they commit while in office. The federal appeals court ruling is a major setback for former President Donald Trump. He has argued presidential immunity in prosecutor Jack Smith's case against him regarding January 6th. Trump has already vowed to appeal the decision all the way to the U.S. Supreme Court. But in the unanimous 57-page decision, the three-panel court wrote that for the purpose of this criminal case about January 6th, President Trump has become Citizen Trump. This is the line in question. Former President Trump speaking to his supporters on January 6, 2021, before they marched to the Capitol.
We're going to walk down, and I'll be there with you. We're going to walk down to the Capitol because you'll never take back our country with weakness. You have to show strength, and you have to be strong.
Here to dive into all of this and more is White House correspondent for The Hill, Brett Samuels. Brett, how is this going to shake up the 2024 race?
Well, Kevin, in short, the answer is too soon to say. Basically, what we're expecting is the former president, as you said, is going to appeal this. This is going to go to the Supreme Court. And the Supreme Court will essentially decide whether or not he is immune. Now, ultimately, if they decide that he is not immune and he has to go on trial, there's some evidence to suggest, and Republicans have told me, that this may end up helping former President Trump just further rally his base, further solidify support for him amongst folks who think that he's being unfairly targeted here. So, you know, we seem to be on a collision course between Trump and Biden, and I don't think this does much to change that. Although Nikki Haley's camp will tell you that this is just more evidence of the kind of chaos that Trump brings and just more evidence of why Republicans should look to her as an alternative in this primary. So
Scott Transer over at our friends with the Decision Desk HQ, I mean, they've said that there's polling that suggests, and I know you've crunched the numbers on this, Brett, polling suggests that actually moderate independent voters, should Trump be convicted of a crime, that they would not consider voting for him. So how is that impacting what the Biden re-elect campaign is saying?
Yeah, so the Biden campaign has told me, you know, just what you're saying, essentially that voters do not like, the idea of Trump going on trial, being convicted. As you said, there's polling that suggests that folks who maybe are supporting Trump in the primary now, if he is in fact convicted in any of these cases he's facing, that they will not support him. We've seen that in some of the primary exit polling, that folks who voted for him or voted for Nikki Haley have said they won't vote for Trump, especially if he's convicted. And that feeds into what we've seen from the Trump campaign and sort of the tactics here, which is delay, delay, delay. They want to push these things as far back as they can. Ideally, he wouldn't face any of these trials before the election because then it's a moot point and people don't have to deal with the question of whether he's been convicted. So that's why we're seeing the former president appeal this, and you can expect to see him continue to try and pull out all the stops to delay these trials that he's facing.
And I know you're going to keep us up to speed on the latest with all of that. Switching gears, Trump and Senator Elizabeth Warren had a lot to say about the bipartisan Senate border deal. Take a listen.
This is a Democrat trap. It's a trap for Republicans that would be so stupid, so foolish to sign a bill like this.
The reason that Mike Johnson is saying no is not because there's a specific problem with the bill. The reason is Donald Trump. Donald Trump is looking for a political advantage, and if it hurts this country, he doesn't care. And you know what? It's not the first time he's done it.
Brett, I mean, Trump is clearly driving the Republican Party, and Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell has even pulled back the support of this bipartisan plan. I mean, it shows the political reality, does it not?
Absolutely. You know, you see Senator James Lankford, a Republican from Oklahoma, played a key role in crafting this bipartisan bill on border security. And within hours, his entire party is basically eating him alive and saying that this bill is not good enough. It's not going anywhere. It's dead on arrival. And as you said, Kevin, you know, this just shows former President Trump, you know, he says that Republicans shouldn't be touching this. This is a death wish for Republicans if they support this. And they're happy to fall in line and say, you know, that they're not going to even take a vote on this, basically. So, you know, former President Trump doesn't think this is good election year politics, and the Republicans in Congress are falling in line. They agree. They're saying, let's kick it to voters in November in the election, which is, you know, still almost 300 days away. But that's, as you said, the political realities. Nobody wants to take a vote that might actually help President Biden by reining in the issues at the border that he's facing.
I mean, Brett, sometimes I think we in the media overcomplicate. I mean, Trump just sunk the bipartisan bill in the Senate. He just said that essentially there's going to be changes at the head of the RNC. And meanwhile, over in the lower chamber, the House Republicans are moving ahead with the impeachment of Homeland Security Department Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas. But the House Rules Committee, they met Monday in order to advance the measure to impeach as early as today. But two Republican lawmakers, Tom McClintock from California and Ken Buck of Colorado, vowed to vote no on the impeachment. So in terms of the impeachment for Mayorkas, is this going to happen?
It's really coming down to the wire. You know, Republicans can only afford a really small number of defections. As you've said, there's already two folks who have said that they're going to vote no, and they can only afford one or two more. So, you know, Speaker Johnson seems to still think that this is going to happen from what he was saying as recently as this afternoon. But they have no margin for error here. Now, the White House has told me essentially that they welcome this, that this is being viewed as a political stunt, that they think the American people will see that there's really no basis for this, and that Republicans in the House have actually accomplished nothing to show the American people. So I think they're welcoming this fight, but it would certainly be quite an embarrassment, I think, for Republicans to come all this way only for a few of their own members to sink this effort.
All right, Brett Samuels, great reporting as always. Brett Samuels, White House reporter for The Hill. Thank you, Brett.
Thanks, Kevin.
CENTCOM confirmed that they shot down a pair of uncrewed Houthi drones Monday. This comes after Iran-backed Yemen Houthi rebel forces attacked two ships, one American and one British, on the Red Sea. Meanwhile, U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken continues his tour of the Middle East, where he will attempt to tamp down escalation in the region. He landed in Egypt this morning. Legendary country music star Toby Keith passed away Monday after battling stomach cancer since 2022. In a statement posted to the singer's website, he fought his fight with grace and courage. In an interview last month, the powerhouse country singer told KWTV that cancer is a roller coaster. He was 62 years old. India detained a pigeon for 8 months on suspicion that it was spying on behalf of the Chinese Communist Party. According to PETA, India, the bird was released from captivity this week. Per the Associated Press, Indian officials apprehended suspected flying foe after they found illegible writing on its wings. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. But it turns out it was no avian agent, but a Taiwanese racking pigeon. I mean, even the birds. That's it for today's Daily Debrief. I'm Kevin Cirilli. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe to The Hill's YouTube channel, and come back here soon for the intersection between birds, politics, and policy.